Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving into the fascinating world of acting techniques, not just for the stage, but for real life personal growth. And our guest today is Jim Rogers Taylor. So, welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah, exactly. Lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, Jim, like before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Jim is a Marine veteran, a multifaceted creative, and an accomplished actor with over 20 years in the industry. So, he has spent years understanding the connection between the minds and the emotions and how acting techniques can help us unlock our fullest potential. So, welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Lovely, lovely. So, Jim, like, your perspective on the acting as a tool for personal development is definitely the unique one. So, what first led you to see acting techniques as more than just performance tools?
It happened. It was a moment that happened when I was on the set of this film
Uh-huh.
called Hunter back in December of 2007.
Uh-huh.
We were filming a scene. Me and Lyndon Ashby. We were both in the scene together, but I wasn't on camera. They were just filming his shots. And right after one of his shots, we were working for a couple hours. But right after one of the shots, when they yelled cut, he reached over and shook my hand like I pulled his kid out of a fire. And I couldn't understand it because I wasn't in character, but I was there. And it
Hmm.
took me some time to realize it. But what I'd realized is in that situation, what happens with most actors is that they're not present in the moment. They're not on camera, so they don't care. So they're just saying their lines. They're not delivering it in a way that's beneficial for the other actor on camera. When I did that, it was a sign of appreciation. But what took me to realize is I wasn't in character, but I was present in the moment because I don't just use acting techniques to act, they're a lifestyle for me. They've been since I was a little one. And it was in that moment that I realized that these tools and techniques that I used in life were the same that were being taught in acting techniques, which also were the same ones that allowed me to live a better life.
Hmm. Understood. And also, one more thing is here, like, uh, how do you define the connection between mind, emotions, and the human spirit?
For me personally, I relate most to Plato's allegory of the soul, though mine's a little bit different. And this comes from when I was a little one. The way I see the human spirit, it's the joining of two halves, my mental capacity and my emotional body. And my emotions are just, energy for me. They're different flavors of energy. But once I join these two together, to me, that's what feels like my spirit is. That's where
Mhm.
all of what I am comes from.
Oh, okay. And like, I mean, I have to say that this is really fascinating, like how the same techniques used to bring characters to life can also be used to improve our own well-being. So that is something really great. And like, what are some of the specific acting exercises or maybe the techniques that anyone can use to develop the emotional intelligence and the mental resilience?
Absolutely. Before I get into that, let me explain the reason why
Mhm.
it's look behind it. If you appreciate what actors use as their medium, if you look at all artists, like I say, metal workers work with metal, glass workers work with glass, musicians work with instruments and composition, painters work with paintbrush and paints, canvas. Actors work with the human mind and emotions. Because once upon a time, for the first 2,100 years of like 2,500 years of Western acting, it was about pretend. It was about make believe. We're going to represent these emotions. But about 100 years ago, this gentleman named Konstantin Stanislavski came along and he reinvented acting. It evolved. So
Mhm.
now it's not about acting. Acting is not even a good word anymore. It's about being and becoming something else mentally and emotionally. Tapping into what your emotions are and calling them up instead of faking it. So that's basically what the goal is now. It's to use real emotions in imaginary circumstances, to build a real
Mhm.
working human mindset for use on the stage. But the rub is the human mind doesn't understand the difference between the imagination on the stage and real life out in the world. So
Mm,
it's the same tools and techniques to build the human mind. We're just using them in two different arenas. So
mm,
it's like these techniques are just wrenches and screwdrivers. What we use them for is what's important. Going back into these tools, the one I like to draw upon the most is one of my first ones. It's the Stanislavski system. And the reason why that is so fascinating is because it allows us to break down a moment. Now, think about like most parents who have children. I went through the same thing growing up when I was a little one. Parents would say, make good choices. Don't do something stupid. Think before you act. But that's a platitude. What does that mean? The
mm,
Stanislavski is the actual nuts and bolts. It tells you step by step, this is what it means to think before you act. Um, and the system is based on 7 questions. And these questions are designed to break down a moment so you can find out all the choices you have available in that moment. The first question is, who am I? This is the moment in relation to you. What is the role you play in the moment? Are you in this moment as, a father? Are you in it as a coworker? What is your purpose there to be in this moment? Who are you? The second question is, where am I? This
yeah.
is the moment in relation to the environment. Where are you? What's going on in this environment? Is there anything there that could benefit you? Is there anything else you can affect? Number three is, when is it? This is the moment in relation to time. Like, am I about to go out into the store right now through rush hour traffic? Or am I about to talk to my wife about something uncomfortable before she had anything to eat so she's on an empty stomach? So it's like, what time are you dealing with at the moment? Number four, what do I want? This is the moment in relation to purpose. So you're understanding the purpose of your moment. It kind of goes back to the dad, or I'm a dad in a situation. What's my purpose? I'm here in this moment to explain to my son why he's wrong for, getting a dent in the car. Number five, why do I want it? This is the moment in relation to desire. This is important and it goes hand in hand with number four because, yeah, you can know your purpose, but if you don't know your desire, someone else can stick desire in there, their own. And now you're building someone else's dream instead of building your own. Number
Mm,
six, how do I get it? This is the moment in relation to action. So, what's your plan? What are you going to do to get what you need? Because
yeah.
most people I talk to have no idea what they want, much more how to get it. And the last one is number seven. What's in my way? This is the moment in relation to obstacles. So, like, am I going for a job interview? How many other applicants are there trying to go after this job? Do I
Mm,
have all the skills I need for this job and whatnot? So now I have a system that I can present that allows me to break down a moment. So, like, if I had a child, I could sit there, teach them this system. It's like, this is how you make good choices.
wow. So, like, I mean, it's really incredible to, when the way to practice self-awareness and the emotional growth. So, also, you have lived a life of diverse experiences, like from military service to entertainment. Like, how have acting techniques helped you navigate the challenges outside the industry?
Well, I have I guess a special skill that I refer to as spiritual shapeshifting, where
Okay.
I have created so many different versions of me throughout the course of my life
Mhm.
that they're like my wardrobe. It's different clothes that I wear. It's like if I was to wear a suit and tie to work, if I went to the beach and wore swim trunks, I wouldn't be fake. I wouldn't be representing something else. No, I just in a different
Mm,
environment with different wardrobe. Well, spiritual shapeshifting for me is just changing my mental and emotional makeup into a different version of me, which is best suited for the environment that I'm in. Like if I was talking to my grandmother, I wouldn't talk to her the same way as I would talk to my friends at the bar if I was having a beer. I code
mm,
switch. This is just like what I'm talking about is hyper code switch. It's getting more in depth and developing yourself in a way so you can step in and out of different versions of yourself. And it's not about being fake or representation. It's about growing and developing who you are into a more formidable being.
understood. And also at the same time, like, what advice would you give to someone who struggles with the confidence or maybe expressing themselves?
I think a lot of that in the acting
Mm,
world we refer to it as stage fright. And a lot of people have this. It's kind of like where people can't get in front of
mm,
a crowd. It's not that they're afraid. because fear is generally born from the unknown. It's that they don't know all the moments. They don't know all the beats. If you do what actors refer to as the work, the Stanislavski system, the Meisner technique to study behavior, Uta
Mm,
Hagen's down, all of these things will answer all the questions in your head. That's why people, when they act and they rehearse a scene so much, they want to do it. They're not afraid to do it because they've answered it all. Now they want to give it away. If you do all the work, you're not going to have that fear or that insecurity. You can wipe away insecurities by asking questions. That's the reason why people go to therapy as well, because acting
yeah.
goes hand in hand with therapy. Psychologists have delved into acting, actors have went into psychology because it's really about asking questions of the unknown. Acting and therapy are both that same
Mm,
exact way. So when you do the work, you ask the questions and you fill yourself out specifically in the moment, then you don't really have anything to fear. You get excited because you want to give this away.
true. Exactly. And okay, and like you talk about the mind and emotions as the two halves of the human spirit. So how does this perspective help people achieve a balanced and a healthy life?
I think it does in the aspect of most of the time when we talk about the human spirit or mental and emotional health, we talk about it in the abstract. We don't try
Okay.
to make actual heads or tails of it to understand it, to give it a body. Because it's like if someone goes to the hospital with an injury, an internal injury, we understand what the human body looks like enough. We have literacy enough to be able to
Mm,
open, find whatever veins or whatever damage, heal the damage, sew it together, whatever they need to do. We don't have to worry about that because we've examined and understood it. When it comes to the spiritual sense of a human being, we haven't done the work enough to really give it to the for the layman. We haven't given it to the layman in a way they can understand it to where they can affect it on themselves. We have to go to professional fields, and even the professional fields are unsure about it a lot. Kind of like Asperger's was the thing. What now? It's not. Now it's autism. So they're still growing and learning within themselves. What I'm saying is if we give this system to people, it's going to be a systemic way to give them mental and emotional literacy. And I see that as profound because when we gave the world written literacy, it changed the world. When we gave them mathematical literacy, it changed the world. So if we gave people a systemic, easy way to gain mental and emotional literacy, I'm saying this technically should change the world.
exactly. I mean, it's really, really a great one. And so, do you believe that anyone can learn to, I mean, integrate these concepts into their daily life?
I believe most people are. We just don't realize it. Because like I said, I stumbled upon these as a little one. If I
Mhm.
started rattling off these techniques, I'm sure there's people out there say, "Oh, I do that. Oh, I was shown how to do that." It's something we all do. This is kind of like saying, can anybody use a hammer? Sure, some people
Yeah.
can use a hammer really well. Some people can smash their thumb. It depends on the person and how much willingness and discipline they're put into it. But if you have someone that's willing and disciplined, there's no limitations. They can go anywhere. They can develop themselves into any human being they want.
Mm. That is nicely said. Yes. I mean, a holistic approach to personal development is so, so powerful that balancing both mind and emotions truly leads to kind of self-mastery. So that's true. Yeah. And Jim, like this really has been an enlightening conversation. I mean, where can listeners find or learn more about your work and the ideas?
A couple of different places. I have my website right now. I'm still building it and working through it, but it is www.tbcenterprises.com. That's TBC is in Tango Bravo Charlie Enterprises. That's where a bulk of my stuff is anchored into. I also started a social media account about a little less than a year ago. It's under Soy Candy, SoiCandie. And lastly, I would say if you really want to learn this stuff, I wrote a book about it. It's called All Your Best Selves. That's what the cover looks like. But you can see it on or buy it on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and just Google it or search it rather, you can pick that up.
Okay.
And if you do get it and read it, it would mean a lot to me if you reviewed it on Amazon. That would be fantastic. Anybody listening?
Lovely. That's really lovely. And any final words for those who are ready to explore these techniques for the personal growth?
Absolutely. I said simply is be curious. When you get into
Uh-huh.
this, don't have any preconceived notions, don't think of it as acting. Like I said, that's the
Mm,
biggest hiccup I have is people's like, oh, I don't really need to act. I don't need, but we all
mm,
act. We're all on stage. We're all putting different versions of ourselves up.
mm,
These tools and techniques teach you how to do it eloquently. It's like even when I was talking to a podcaster and she was talking about she was taking acting classes, and she felt weird. And I'm like, think about it. It's like presidents, senators, all these
mm.
celebrities. They all have people on hand to teach them how to act, how to dress, how to wear makeup, all these things. It's happening. It's just we as the masses aren't taking control of that ourselves. And once we do, we can change ourselves. And when we change ourselves, we change the world.
Yeah, true. Exactly true. Yeah. Great, lovely. Jim, like this is really, really an incredible and the perfect way to close. I mean, empowering people to take control of their growth through practical techniques. So, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experiences. And listeners, like if today's episode has resonated with you, take a moment to try one of these techniques. And acting isn't just for the stage; it's a powerful tool for the life. So, check out Jim's work on in the episode description. I'll put all the links into the show notes. And do not forget to subscribe, review, and share this episode with anyone who actually needs to listen to this. So until next time, stay mindful, stay healthy, and keep growing with healthy mind and a healthy life. So thank you so much.